All right, we are live. We should have some folks coming here pretty soon as YouTube send out the notification.
That's what I'm checking for now. See what it shows on my side. Oh, nothing shows on my side yet. There we go.
Okay.
Boom.
Boom. There you go. You said boom. Okay, boy, I will say that Young and the Restless has been getting on my nerves, and it's not per se the story. It's just, I don't know, it's just getting boring right now.
Yeah, it's become mundane, very, very. I don't know. They were off on they started off really, really well for us, like before sweeps, after sweeps, everything. Especially with the Ashley storyline, there was just a lot of moving parts. They had Jordan, and then now without Ashley, without Jordan,
it's just boring.
It's like a lot of mental health stuff, which you touched on in your previous video.
Exactly. Did you see Myra come in talking about girl?
What you referring to? Are you referring to Hope being raggedy as ever, kissing a married man in her and Steffy's family home? Yeah, girl. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. I kind of wanted to touch on a couple other things that I found interesting on the Young and the Restless. Hey guys, hey Cheryl, hey Katie Cat, Myra, Melissa Spencer, all the yous, Cynthia, Crystal, welcome in. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. How many people we got so far, Bree?
We got 20, and they're coming in very, very fast.
Yeah,
so they were ready.
They were ready. Okay, so welcome you guys to So Corner Talk midweek chat. You know what this is if you come in here on Wednesday nights. Yes, we gotta talk about what happened Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I kind of want to touch on a couple things from the Young and the Restless. I know the big conversation is going to happen for Bold. And yeah, so, without further ado, let me go ahead and get everybody started. So, I will say out of the last 3 days, the storyline that I could appreciate, even if it was just a small glimpse, was Tracy and Alan.
I know. That was so cute. Oh my God, their interaction today's episode. I was like, oh, she said that this really could be something, and he's just adorable. I love those two.
Did you hear what he said? He said, wherever Tracy is, that's where I'm going to be.
I was like, oh, Tracy,
I'm like, all right, Alan, you are checking boxes, man.
Yes. Tracy got a man. Oh,
Tracy got a man. Listen, I wish they could have tied in, which we kind of saw Cricket tie this into the bedroom line because she got a few pieces when they did the launch. I kind of wish they could have tied in Tracy with that. You know what I mean? Because obviously they did the deed. I mean, come on. The dude is sprung.
Yeah, he was quick to get upstairs with Tracy at the Abbott house. I was like, oh, okay. So they progressed.
They definitely progressed. Girl, shoot. And the thing is, he's not a bad looking dude. I'm glad they put him with her.
They are adorable together. He is smitten with her. This man traveled from Paris to LA to Genoa City. Wherever she's at, he wants to be. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I wish I had that. That's so sweet. Ugh.
It was. That part I really enjoyed. So I just had to bring that up. The other thing is, I actually thought that Chance made headway with Summer. But unfortunately, we were wrong. Because the moment that she said that, okay, maybe I should compromise and we should just do what we've been doing, she get right in the park with Claire and says, what's going on and what's the relationship details between Kyle and Audra? I'm like, really, Summer?
Both Hope and not Hope, both Summer and Kyle They both want to try to utilize Claire, and I'm glad that she's shutting them both down,
Mm-hmm.
because Kyle had tried to use her twice to spy and to try to give him intel on what's going on with Summer and Harrison. She said no, and she's doing the same thing with Summer too. She's looking out for the interest of the child.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what is the issue? Summer, that's the one I have the issue with.
Yeah.
Because when they had that sit down on Monday, the fact that he said that, hey, we can keep everything the same, we'll stay out of courts, we'll do what we've been doing and call it, you know, it is what it is. She is so stuck on Audra being in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whether he works with her or not, he could still see this woman if he chooses. He's not with nobody.
Exactly. You know, I mean, and my thing is, if I was Chance, I would be giving her the side eye, because it's like, why are you so hard pressed on worried about a man that you divorced from, and whether this man is sleeping with Audra? Why do you care so much?
He questioned it a little bit when they were sitting down at GCAC. He was like, so he wants to make things work. He wants to keep the custody agreement the way it is, and you don't want to go along with that. And just the tone in his voice kind of sounded like he's like, this woman sounds half crazy. And I'm glad that he brought up the situation with Dominic and Abby and him trying to work things out so he can be the father to their child too. So he tried to empathize with her,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like she was getting headway. But then you see the little stank face that she's showing at the top left.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, girl, why are you so pressed with the women surrounding Kyle? Because she rarely mentions Harrison.
Right.
She says she wants to do what's best for Harrison, but she's so stuck on who's around Kyle and
Right.
how it's a good or bad decision. And I'm like, if you want this man, you need to say that.
Right, and don't insult Chance by playing in his face. Because my thing is, if you feel in some kind of way that, you know, Kyle is moving on, he's doing his business, you think it's with Audra, well, technically it's Claire, because we had a little bit of conversation about that this week between Nikki, Claire, and Victoria. But I'm like, girl, I mean, I'm just surprised, even though, like you say, he kind of mildly questioned it, I would still be like, look, we're in a relationship. If the focus is not on your son, why do you care what your ex is doing? That's what he should have said.
Yeah. He actually needs to kind of question where they're at within the relationship, because how long they been together? A few months or so?
Well, girl, I mean, the whole scene, didn't they start like late in 2023? I thought it was late 2023. Because he got shot in October of 2023.
Right.
So somewhere around December, I thought, going into January, they started kind of getting closer and closer, because she, you know, that whole breakup with Sharon happened and stuff like that.
That was in 2023? I thought that was in January.
That's what I said, December going into January.
Yeah. And then they got it in, February. So they almost a half a year.
About 6 months.
Still, but still, like, he should be very concerned as to what's going on in this woman's head. Like, why is she so pressed so badly? He really needs to put his foot down and say, like, look, you're being ridiculous. And it seems like every time somebody even rebuttals what she says, you're taking Kyle's side.
Girl, that's irritating. And now, see, me, myself, I couldn't talk to somebody like that. Because it's like, I'm trying to give you reality and reason. I'm trying to get you to see this for what it is. And then you thinking by me telling you the truth, I'm on Kyle's side.
And it's everybody. Her daddy. You're on Kyle's side. Daniel, you're on Kyle's side. Girl, these are men who are trying to show you a male's perspective in this. And they're also trying to not sugarcoat things for you. But then they buckle. And they say, like, okay, well, we didn't mean to say it like this. We're trying to get you to understand such and such. It's like they have to coddle this grown woman.
Yeah, perfect word, Bree. Perfect word.
Coddle her and her feelings and her emotions. And the bottom line is, if you want time with your son, you can make time with your son. You're going to have to make adjustments as far as your career. For one, get up out of the hotel. That should be a priority as well, because she was talking about, like, it's so sad that my son, he asked for like his teddy bear or his shirt or something that she said, and he can't go to the next room. Okay, get a home so he can have a room to go to, instead of waiting for room service and sharing a hotel bed with you.
Exactly. And none of this makes sense. And she is always thinking that Audra is going to have access to Harrison. Audra has not even yet met the boy, even when they were sleeping together. She didn't even want to be around him, remember?
She didn't even care for the picture. She was like, "God, don't even send me no pictures of this way. I do not care."
She don't care about, right, exactly.
You know what? Maybe that's who needs to actually talk to Summer and say, like, look, I don't care. She could be like, look, I don't care what you have going on. I'm about business. I have no interest in being with Kyle or being Harrison's stepmommy or being around Harrison. None of that. Who else needs to talk to Summer for it to get through to her? Her mama's not going to help at all.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I'm wondering, because she keeps saying something's just not right here. I don't know what it is, but something's not right. And who was that? I think that was Chance that asked her, do you think he's sleeping with Audra? And she couldn't clearly give a definitive yes. But she kept just saying something's just not right. So I'm wondering, is this going to lead to a point where she find out that her grandfather is behind all of this? Because that's the smoking gun right there.
Exactly. And even Kyle was like, so you went to your grandfather about your custody issue. He was like, look, you better be careful. And that's a perfect example of who has gotten burned by Victor when it comes to Victor's antics. And even Phyllis was like, look, you don't want to be indebted to this man. You've seen how stupid Michael was acting early this week.
Yeah, we got to talk about that with him and Adam. That's coming up next. But yeah, this whole thing, I'm pretty much over it. I'm like, where are we going to get a resolution to this? Is she going to back down? Is she going to lose the kid? Is Kyle going to lose the kid? What is the end goal with this storyline? You know what I'm saying?
Putting those two together.
But why? I mean, why? I mean, they hinted with the conversation with Claire, Victoria, and Nikki about Claire is trying to figure out her feelings for Kyle. And I know at some point he was kind of giving her the eye too, checking her out. So I thought that they was going to head that direction. And the other thing I got to mention, thank you writers, if you push her in the direction of going working with Nikki. Because me personally, I think at some point she need to get out of the middle of that custody battle. Put her in the office and dress her like the adult that she is.
Yes, let's hope that they're listening, because they still had this girl dressed like a 14-year-old on the show this whole week. And talking about she's never been in a relationship. She has a crush on Kyle and Nikki and Victoria. I was surprised Victoria was even remotely encouraging this, but I'm glad she came to her senses, because she's nowhere near mentally mature to even worry about Kyle, especially what he has going on.
Yep, I agree. I'm at the point like, okay, you know what? Put this girl over at Newman and let's just get it over with. Because the thing is, her being this childlike state, taking care of a child, and then it's like, oh, I don't want to leave him. You in the middle of a war, ma'am. Those two and the Abbott household is pretty much, it's drama going on in there. And you want to be over in the, I need to protect Harrison. That's their job. You're the nanny. You're the help. You get paid.
Yep. Exactly. And trying to help Kyle out. You can call this man. If he wants to talk to you, he can call him. You do not need to be concerned about what's happening over in that household. And if the boy wants to vent to you, then that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
But he has parents.
Yeah, they
You
got
are not in
grandparents too.
Yeah. Like, she's not in any position as a nanny to have any say so or to think that she can have any sort of influence, obviously, because Kyle and Summer don't care to take her advice.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to continue to do what they want to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's their decision. And Nikki's at least trying to give you an out, even though she's not CEO or chancellor yet. But she's like, look, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you a job.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead and come over and work with the family.
And honestly, I would rather see her do that than this storyline of being a nanny. I really wanted her to go back to work for Newman.
And you know what? It actually might get Kyle to see her differently too.
Mm-hmm.
And we might get to see a little bit of attraction because, I mean, they'll both be over there at Newman.
Right. Yep. I agree. I mean, when I first heard that and Nikki was like, I want to offer you a job and work over at Chancellor, I'm like, oh, thank God, please say yes. Get away. I mean, that's, to me, that storyline is played out. It's played out at this point. The reason that you two connected was way back then with the kidnapping and Jordan and all of that. We are past Jordan. And I understand the little boy, he's happy to have Claire around. He can see Claire from time to time, but Claire need to go to work. And I mean work.
Didn't Victoria say, like, he has a fall school schedule, so the boy's going to be in school.
Thank you. So what are you going to do with your time?
Yeah, you might as well, put your degree to work,
mm-hmm.
and be around some adults,
mm-hmm.
and, have, your own life. I mean, it's the only next step for his progression. And I completely forgot. She will be working over at Chancellor, so she will be in the same Newman building. But I mean, she'll still be dressed like an adult. She can have adult business conversations with Kyle. It doesn't have to talk about like what happened with Jordan and all these childlike things. Like, we need to see a progression with the Claire character.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So hopefully they make some changes with that and she decides. She did take on the Newman name. The other thing is she was trying to figure out whether she should use Howard or Newman. And I'm like, well, these days people, if Abby got 5 last names. So, you could call yourself Claire Howard Newman or Claire Newman Howard. Something. Oh, I don't worry about what Dad might say. Girl, use both last names. Who is that? Her cousin? Yeah, your cousin. Uh-huh. No, that's her aunt. Abby is her aunt. Your aunt has 5 last names. You can have 2.
And she about to add on Winters on top of that.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm like, man, why are you gonna cut Cole out? Like, you a Howard too. Like, go ahead and take. No, I'm Claire Newman. Okay, whatever. Let's talk about Adam and Victor, because Victor said it's time for you to pay up. I gave you this job as CEO over at Newman Media, and I need you to go to work. I need you to take down Billy. And he was like, I can't do that one. It's complicated. I bet it is, Adam.
And I'm like, what does Victor want him to do? And then he also has to realize Victoria would also be upset because her kids would be upset that their uncle is going to be trashing their father.
Well, she already agreed to it, remember? So remember when she said that they were going to snatch that company from Billy? She was about to tell Billy, you need to be prepared what's coming. And then she backed off and said, Billy's a big boy. I'll take care of it later. She don't care, girl.
Yeah. Well, she agreed to her mom taking over the company, but if Adam's job is to like trash Billy, I don't think she would go for that. I think if anything, she'll be on the defense at least for her kids.
Well, but by now she should know how her father is, because this is all him. And it's unfortunate that Adam is in a situation where he slept with Chelsea, because trashing him And if that secret comes out, he got some dirt of his own that, could come back to bite him in the butt. So he like, I don't know about this one, Pops, but Pops don't care. So
Yeah, and they shifted from Jack to Billy. I think you
yep,
mentioned that last week.
I noticed that he backed off of Jack. I mean, Glissade is pretty much stagnant right now. I mean, we haven't seen Audra in a while. Audra's over in Europe, because Kyle came back home to see about Harrison. But
Hmm.
that's the most we've heard about Glissade. Now his focus is on Billy.
Yeah. And is it like him trying to attack the Abbott men? Like
I mean, I
I
guess possible. I just think he's trying to put dirt on him because it weakens the company. So if it weakens the company, it also loses its value. So, just like a lot of business owners, they want to take over or kind of absorb another company based on the pennies type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So if they can
Mhm.
if he can weaken the company by putting it up in scandal because Billy is in charge, which means they might lose clientele or go elsewhere, their company is going to be almost worthless. And he can pick it up pennies on the dollar and then make it into whatever he wants to. That's what he's trying to do.
That would completely erase like everything that Catherine had built. That's the part I don't agree with. But I understand he's doing any and everything to keep Nikki's mouth shut. This is the whole only reason.
Well, here's
Only
the
reason
thing,
she.
Bree. Here's the thing.
Mhm.
It really won't hurt her legacy because of the fact that once he buys it over and they put out, with Nikki running, which I guess whatever, because I mean she got history too. But knowing that, I'm assuming that the industry knows the history, of course, of Victor being behind the project and having Nikki and Kay or Catherine being friends all those years, it would bring back the value. So when you put it under a new, larger conglomerate, what happens is it increases the value now. So you took an old tanker and now you absorb it into your company. That's what happened with Cyaxaries, which is now Newman Media. So,
You remember that name?
girl, yeah, it means scorched earth. I remember it.
Like that's a spelling bee word. Somebody spell that.
Well, you know what it was because I've never heard. Usually, when I hear words that are very phonetically creative, I always like to figure out, about the word, look it up, and so I just remember, it just stuck in my memory that that's what it was and what it meant because I remember Adams did say it means scorched earth, but that's what happened with that company. It was pretty much worthless, and when they brought it into the Newman fold, they made it back into a communications powerhouse. So that's what they thinking they can do with Chancellor. I'm going to weaken it only to absorb it and then give it back its power because of who I am as Newman. That's what he's trying to do. Does that make sense?
And yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't know. It's just ironic that he's going to trash Catherine's grandson, but put Nikki, who's not related whatsoever to Chancellor in that position. That's
You said trash her grandson? Who?
Billy.
Billy is Catherine's grandson? Well, yeah. Well, wait a
Yeah,
minute. No. Because John Abbott
yeah.
was his father and Jill was his mother.
Are they still related? Didn't they have those two related? Or actually,
Now, Chance is related because
yeah, Chance
Philip.
is related.
Yeah, Philip is related. And, of course, Devon. But Billy is an Abbott.
Wasn't he like related at one point because he couldn't? Because I remember at one point he couldn't sleep with Mackenzie. And this is like back in the day. But anyway, I thought that he kept saying that it was his grandmother's company.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Because, I mean, Catherine was not Jill's mother, and Catherine was
Right.
also not John Abbott's mother. We do know that Jill and John Abbott is his parents, so.
Yeah.
And I don't
Oh
think
well.
Catherine is related to either one of them. So,
It's just they've been mixing up the history so much because I remember he was calling when Billy Miller was playing Billy. He kept calling Catherine his grandmother.
well, Amaya
Um,
Baker said Jill found out Catherine is not her mother after all. So there
and,
must have been a question back in the day that maybe
yeah,
Catherine was Jill's mom, but she's not. And then she became a Fenmore, which I gotta give kudos to Jack for calling Billy out about that, because he kept saying I'm using the Abbott name on the business because of my mom's legacy, and Jack was like, yeah, but your mom is not an Abbott. She was only an Abbott for a short period of time. You are. Maybe you
yeah.
got something to prove.
And speaking of last names, Jill has plenty of last names that she chose from within Genoa City.
Mm-hmm.
So I could understand, like, she had a lot of stake within that company. And obviously, Catherine, gave that to her. But as far as the Abbott name, only thing she produced was an Abbott child.
Right.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And see, here's the thing. Billy ain't slick. He is using that ruse of, oh, this is my mom's legacy. That's why I'm putting a name on there. Dude, you trying to slide in with your last name on a building to make you feel better and prove something. And Jack called it out. And of course Billy got mad, and then Jack was like, you know what? I don't even care. I got my own problems with my son.
Yeah, it was an interesting little moment between two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But I could understand a little bit for what Billy is trying to do and trying to prove, because we kind of make fun of him on here too. At least I do, about him being a temp employee and that his resume doesn't mean anything. I think the other characters, like Devon, Lily, everybody has said that about him.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand he wants to try to prove himself, instead of always running back to Jabot. So,
yeah, well, Lily is not happy with him right now.
I'm not happy with Lily. She on my last nerve. She got really upset that he changed his mind. Like, you went behind my back and you completely changed the whole agreement. Well, he can do that. And he was like, he also handed her the phone. He's like, look, if you want to call my mom, because my mom said she don't want me to back down neither.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do, Lily?
Yeah.
Jill is behind Billy. You are once again still just an employee. That is it.
That's it. That is
he is
it.
your boss.
Exactly. And she's around there getting mad, like she's going to figure out a way to get him to do what she wants him to do, and that's just, he doesn't have to.
Nope.
He doesn't have to. He could say, you know what, you're fired. And he even mentioned that. I could fire you.
Yeah.
And maybe he should, because honestly, why are you there? You originally was going to go over with Devon. You came midstream in the plan and changed your mind. Then you decide to stick with Billy, and now you don't trust Billy because everybody talking in your ear. Girl, then just leave. Find something else to do. Because she's worried about, oh, my hard work and all this. Ma'am, he can still fire you tomorrow.
Yep. And it won't mean a thing.
Nope.
To anybody.
Nope.
And she can cry all she wants, but at the same time, he even gave her an out. He was like, "Look, I got a press release. I was waiting for you to sign off on it. Prove me wrong." She's like, I can't sign off of that. This is last minute. I can't do this, Billy. You're the same. You keep doing this. Look, you either working for Chancellor or Abbott Chancellor, or you're not.
Right.
You're either going to follow instructions as an employee or you're not. And she needs to kind of come to grips with that. If she's so bothered, then go work with your brother.
Yep. I mean, but why won't she? She got a whole problem about going. I mean, Devon was like, "I'll give you whatever part you want over at Winters," and she just won't do it. But you'd rather fight it out with Billy Abbott. I don't know. That just sucked.
I think she,
and that goes back to the part back in March where they were saying how, we're actually taking Lilywood to a new direction. Where did y'all take her? To a company that's a sinking ship.
She lost her man, which it was touched on too.
Mm-hmm.
She the merger, happened, and then she really about to lose her job or be demoted because Nikki's about to take the position. So is the new direction a downward spiral? She's clearly delusional about the type of control she thinks she has over at the company. It's like, what direction are they trying to go in with her?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. It sucks. And it's like they don't know what to do with her. Because what? Y'all afraid if y'all put over on the Winter side, is she going to get boring? Or you want her to be fighting with Billy? I guess. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. And then...
You know what?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm going to keep going back to that conversation she had with Mamie and the rest of the family, that she doesn't trust Devon. I don't think she wants to work with her brother because she don't trust her brother at all.
Yeah, well, Michelle seems something because she don't want to go over there. And then we got Michael. Michael he's begging this man to take him back in his good graces. What do I got to do? Whatever it is, I'm like, dude, you were the one in the right, not Victor. If you hadn't did nothing, his butt would have been in jail right now.
And even he said, "Don't you dare save my behind at all." Mm-hmm. And I would have took that as like, okay, no problem. Consider it done. You want to fall? I'm gonna let you fall all on your own, without question. But
I don't get it, girl.
What is this? Should be a very wealthy, successful attorney. If anything, he should be retired by now. I'm like, don't you want to spend time with your wife that you've been kept away from because of Victor's antics? I mean, you've been in jail and prison, back and forth from country to country. Like, you would think you would be tired of working for Victor.
You would think, but he keeps simping for Victor. I mean, in a business way. It's like, dude, you look pathetic. He looked pathetic. You an accomplished attorney. You done turned your life around from all the stuff in the past. You got a gorgeous wife and everything. And you worried about whether Victor is your friend or not.
Yeah.
Go figure.
I can't.
I can't. That's why I don't know if you guys saw the video that I made last week about the storylines on Y&R, and some of you guys chimed in, so I appreciate that. But honestly, I understand that they have a contract until 2028, but it's like I'm tired of the depressing storylines. Give us something that'll put us on the edge of our seats. It don't have to be crazy and outlandish and don't make sense. But something that's just going to be like, oh my God, I can't wait to see Y&R tomorrow. Tomorrow's episode, to me, is absolutely boring. I'm just saying.
So we can play in the background while I clean?
Yeah, pretty much. I was cooking while it was playing. I'm like, this is all we got. We got Sharon and Cameron Kirsten, and he in the background talking, and Billy and Sally going back and forth about whether they're hiding, meaning Adam and Chelsea is hiding something. We did get to see Connor being out and about and stuff like that, but I'm just like, okay, what else we got? Can you give us something else? Because I'm just over these mental health storylines. I understand, like I said in my video, I understand the mental health awareness. I get it. It's being more and more studied. There's a lot of new information coming out. I appreciate that. But how, or shall I say, however, because but negates. However, can we take a break at something? There's nobody romancing nobody. I think that's why we're hanging our hats on Alan and Tracy, and we're hoping that's not Martin.
They're the only, yeah. I'm actually hoping it is Martin.
Just
to get some spice,
right?
Some spice and some fun and excitement. But I agree with you. It makes zero sense how this is the summer, and nobody's getting in except for those two, and that's off screen, by the way.
Right. We got a couple of kisses from the two of them, but I mean, we ain't got to see them get down or whatever. But I mean, have him fix a romantic dinner or something. I mean, give us something. Summer is off the rails. Lily don't make sense. This whole thing with Sharon is insane with bringing a Cameron Kirsten back with, and no shade to what's his first name? I know his last name is Ashby, but
Kate Ashby?
No, the actor, Susan Walters' husband.
Oh,
Lyndon.
Glenn.
Lyndon Ashby. No shots to him because hey, he's an actor. He needs work. But I'm sorry. I'm not here for it. So, but I talk about it because I do have some fans who enjoy the show. And lately, it's just I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get through it. So, all right, let's move on to Bowl Girl.
Yeah, she said we through with that.
I'm
just tired and through.
Yeah, we'll talk more about whatever. Tomorrow, because we have the Friday live chat, and I'm like, tomorrow is like sleepy town to me. But, that's just me. Bold and the Beautiful, you guys. Yay! It's craziness over there. Beginning of the week, Katie. Oh my God, Katie. You can't tell this girl. I don't know who's worse, her or Summer. Because you saying you don't want this man, but you moving and crying and boo-hooing and all up in his face like you do want this man.
Yeah, if she wasted no time calling the police, going to that man. No,
right.
Like nothing. I blame RJ for all of this, all the suspicion, all of it. If he had said nothing about the drug use, about the conversation he had with Luna, any of this, she wouldn't have much to go based off on. Nothing.
Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, he handed her everything.
Here's my issue with today's episode. And I see Jenna was like, she was disappointed in Bill. I felt like it was a whole gaslight going on. Because she says, what if Poppy switched the test? And Bill was sitting up there thinking about it. And I'm like, dude, you realize Lee purposely came in the room to bring her own test that was sealed. Lee told Katie the same thing too. But Bill is sitting there like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm like, dude, you were there. What do you mean? Poppy and Luna was standing next to you. Now, if there was a switcheroo, it would be Lee because it was her test. She walked in the door with it. But
they both had a test.
Yeah, but they used hers. They used hers. She unpacked it. I remember the scene. She unpacked and opened her test and ran her test. She didn't want her to use her thing. And so for the writers to think we're idiots, because I've seen it across social media, like, wait a minute. We know that Lee brought her own test sealed that she used. Why the heck? Because she didn't want to use Poppy's test. And Bill was there. Poppy and Luna stood right at the fireplace with Bill when she opened the darn thing, swabbed their cheeks, and then she was the one that monitored and watched that test. And Bill is sitting up there listening to Katie like, wow, maybe so. Dude, were you drinking that night?
They have, like, I don't know if they're not fact checking the stuff that they've written this whole year, because it seems like they have gone back and forth with a lot of things regarding this storyline. Mm-hmm. Like we touched on it last week, where she says she knew about the bag and she said she didn't know about the bag, and just the who's the father. They've been going back and forth with this way too much.
Yep.
And you already knew how I felt about this box test. I'm like, that was going to be faulty anyway. I knew it was going to come down to a blood DNA test, which it should, especially now. But it's like he was there.
He was there.
There were 2 tests. You invited Lee to stay to administer the test.
Correct.
You just went to Lee's office a couple of weeks ago to thank her for doing the test.
Correct. Yep.
So, and if he has doubts, that's on him. And if he wants to get a blood DNA test, I think that's the right thing to do, just to clarify everything. But for Katie to say that the test was switched, he could have corrected her. Same way he corrected her about saying, like, I already knew about this. You already told me about this. He could have corrected her about the test situation because he was actually there and he witnessed it.
Yep. Yeah, that part, I was like, Bill, I mean, are you going to tell her that Lee already told her? That's the thing. Lee said, and she told her the reason why she administered her test. Remember?
Right.
She said, I did not want Poppy to use any means. I wanted to prove that it wasn't. But unfortunately, the results was what it was at that time with her test. And she's still running around talking about Poppy could have switched the test. And Bill's looking at her like, oh, well, maybe. I'm like, okay, y'all crazy. Either this writing is crazy or y'all trying to make them look crazy.
There's some really good comments I wanted to touch on real quick. Amaya Baker says, I don't think Luna is Bill's, but I don't think anyone switched it. I just think the test was a bad test. I highly agree with that. That's why I say it was a finicky, faulty test, that they even did it from a box. And then Jenna, right underneath here, said he just let the police take her off and didn't even call an attorney or anything to help her. That was my thing, too. He was going so hard for Poppy, like, I'm going to protect my family. I'm going to do this. He saw Luna was crying, but he wasn't even entertaining helping out her mother.
Yeah, I don't.
See, that's what I keep saying. He don't love Poppy like that. He doesn't. He hasn't even said the words.
Well, the interesting thing about all of this is because when I was scrubbing Facebook and some of the other platforms, there are a lot of people hoping that she will be his daughter. They are not liking the way that this is going because of the fact, and I don't blame them. I mean, it's a mess. This whole thing been messy since February. It's been messy. It's been, oh no, Bill is not the father. Oh yeah, he's possibly the father. Then she's giving Finn the eyeballs back in February. So we all thought, well, maybe Finn's the daddy. Then there was conversation about, well, maybe Jack's the father. Then y'all throw in Tom Starr when he was only supposed to be there to rescue Sheila. But then they added an additional contract time to him to throw him into this storyline. Y'all don't know what y'all want to do.
Yeah, they really don't. And Amaya Baker, she made a very valid point. They're going to redo the paternity test so Will and Luna can hook up. I highly agree with that. Because who else is going to be in his group? Who else is a peer to that boy? And usually what happens with these couplings, they hate each other, then they fall in love together. And I don't think this is going to be any exception. He's not the father of that child. And I think that it's become more and more evident with the writing, and that they are pinpointing almost everything towards this girl's paternity. That otherwise, if she was his daughter, they would barely mention it. She would just be his daughter. Same way when they did the paternity test for Liam and for Wyatt. Once it became official, that was his child. That was done. They never revisited it. But the fact that they keep revisiting this girl is not this man's child by any means. There's just no way.
Well,
It's a bad test.
Well, it looked like either way, whether she's his biological child or not, he said he was going to always be there for her. So
Absolutely,
if he's not biological, he would probably be a father figure for her. I'm curious to find out who is Poppy now officially the killer, or is it somebody else? Because since they hauled her off on Monday, we really haven't seen anything in regards to any other clues, anybody outside of Poppy. It's like, okay, so you mean to tell me if you've officially made Poppy the person that took them out, maybe we'll see something later in the week, because we will see Friday Lee having a conversation with Poppy. I don't know if it's behind bars or she'll be out. I guess we gotta wait and see. But if y'all made Poppy the person that was behind all of this was the dumbest mystery that I've ever seen. Because you don't put the person on Front Street if you want it to be a mystery for the fans. That doesn't make sense.
That's why I keep saying I do not trust the writing with this. Every ounce of this has pointed to this woman. We haven't seen nothing behind the scenes of somebody like looking off in the corner, especially since she was hauled off to jail. Somebody could be lurking at Bill's house, looking at Katie and Bill and seeing Luna cry. Like, there could have been something written to show that, okay, that the killer is still out there. Yeah. They've done nothing.
They've done nothing. Somebody lurking around, a gloved hand, something. And then all of a sudden, her pill case is found with the same pills, but it's lace. Okay, writers, we saw powder.
Right. And I'm like, so she was taking the same thing that these men were taking? Just in micro doses? Like, what was she taking? And they said it was lace. So, like, did she crumble all that? But either which way, I knew they were going to tie in those men to what happened with those men. I knew it was going to happen. But they made it seem like she was on something for anxiety, or it was just, something recreational that she was able to use and got a prescription for. But the fact that it was dangerous enough to where it unalived two men.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. They said it was lace. Lace with what? Cyanide? What's that other one? Fentanyl. What was it laced with? You talking about it was lace. Okay, first of all, did anybody test? Now, they did say the same thing that was in their system was on the pills lace. She wouldn't. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't. And wouldn't Finn or Lee say there was a mixture of different medications? They said it was one particular drug that unalived those two that they OD'd on. But it's just, this is what I'm saying regarding the writing, y'all. That's why I do not trust it. I really feel that they're going to pinpoint it and put it on this woman, but I don't think she acted alone. We haven't seen Jack whatsoever. I was saying this in the group chat. I think whatever she said to whoever she was meeting up with, whenever she said she was running an errand or whatever the case is, I think that's the person who is doing the unalivings, and whatever reason has turned their back against her and pinning it on her. Because she was surprised by the fact that the book bag was even in her house. She wasn't surprised by whose book bag it was. She was surprised it was in her house.
Mm-hmm.
So, and on top of that, she wanted to keep that a secret between her and her daughter. It's just, it made it came off like, okay, she has to try to backtrack and get back her ducks in a row, in case like the plan or whatever she had gone awry. I think she was working with somebody. I think there's a second person who's actually doing the unaliving, and they're penning it on her. So I think she was behind the plan, but she wasn't the one who actually fully carried it out.
Then the best way is to, if there's a second person that's doing this with her, a co-conspirator, they need to be lurking, watching, doing something. We got nothing. I would have rather saw that than Danny Romalotti. I mean,
don't get me started on that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what happened at the Forrester mansion. But, I just, it's like, what type? I've seen better mysteries than this on Lifetime.
And wouldn't they leave little messages, little notes, and say I'm still watching you, or there would have been indication that somebody was still out there. Same way whenever they had Sheila do all her crimes, there was stuff that was leading up to it to where we know it was her. That's why I keep saying this is like a Columbo episode. We know who did it, and they're just showcasing how they did it. That's usually how the Columbo episodes work. And Katie is Columbo. And that's it. Just none of the writing has made sense for it to be a quote unquote mystery. That's why, me personally, I feel that they're going to make it out to be her.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully they'll give us some additional content after we get past what happened at the Forrester Mansion, because that took up Tuesday and Wednesday. And of course, this kiss fallout probably is going to extend into tomorrow. And then like I said, Lee and Poppy will be having a conversation on Friday. Where that conversation is, and it's supposed to be something shocking that Lee is supposed to tell Poppy. Whatever that is, does Bill decide to run the paternity test tomorrow, or whatever this is? I don't know that part of it. But I'm just... If she's gonna be the killer, you're gonna throw her behind jail. Get this French toast, and I'm gonna just say, get this French toast of a storyline out of here. I'm over it because it's dumb.
Yeah, it's not a mystery. Nope. A mystery involves, moving parts, and it's gone one direction, and it's pointed directly at Poppy.
Yep. All right, Forrester Mansion. Okay, what's wrong with Hope?
Oh. Are you talking about this bad outfit? The fact that she was tossing that
her being the what they call those, the hype woman for Brooke, to any moment that she could get to Steffy. It's like, girl, go sit down before you fall down.
Both her and her mother were so pressed about getting a cookie and some good graces from Steffy. She made her statement. She said, yeah, Brooke's bedroom was good for the company, and she was thanking her father. She thanked everybody. But that still wasn't enough for either one of them. She's like, oh, Steffy, my mom is a great part of Forrester. I mean, you got to admit that. Doesn't she look amazing? Mm-hmm. Don't you see that Brooke's bedroom is the best part of Forrester Creations? You got to give her credit, right, Steffy? I'm like, you are so pressed about your mother's line. Where is this energy for your own line?
Yeah, but didn't you see what she did when in regards to that cricket ass Steffy and Brooke? Oh, I heard about the Hope for the Future line. Is it true? Blah, 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 blah. And she turned around. Oh, it's going to be fine. I know I had 2 bad quarters, but Forrester is going to support me, right, Steffy? Why would you do that to the CEO in front of everybody at that party?
I'm glad she didn't say nothing. I'm glad. There's nothing to say. Nothing to say. She doesn't even put effort into her own line. Like, you would think with 2 failing quarters, she wouldn't be out partying. She'd be at the office trying to work on whoever can help her design and not make her stuff look so ugly, promote, talk to the buyers and sellers or people who was rejecting her orders, whoever. You would think she'd be working around the clock instead of promoting her mother's line to help get funding for her own line.
Girl, all
Just
I know, I
a
mean, she was
mess.
taking down that champagne. I'm like, has it gotten to that point? You lost your man, your son ain't around. I don't know where Invisibeth is, and I mean, her lines suck right now. Is it that bad, Hope?
I mean, it was enough for her to like toss champagne back. Every scene that we saw her, she was almost like at the bottom of her glass. So we know she had quite a few.
Yes, she
I
did.
mean, we saw how she was looking. She had that ugly dress on. I think Trish said she had a dress of bubble wrap. And I
Mm-hmm.
highly agree. I fully agree with that statement. Like, the mother was looking better than she was. And just the fact that every look that she gave, she's staring at Fan. This man is not paying you no mind at all.
And Brooke noticed
Whatsoever.
it too.
Yes. It's like, girl, you were like stalking him and like just in desperation. How thirsty can you be? Is there enough champagne for you? You still thirsty, honey? Like, just, you had a chance to go be with her man, quote unquote, but it's a plane right away to go to Paris. And she chose not to do that. So she's just lazy on all fronts. She's lazy on how she dresses. She's lazy about her career. She's lazy about the men that she attracts. Like, everything. This is a complete failure.
Sandy Matesic, I hope I pronounced your name correct, Sandy. She said she was a Dope fan, but now she's thinking Thomas dodged a bullet. Missing Thomas, though. Hope is having a breakdown. She is something going on with that girl.
Yes, I fully agree with that. I was like, what did Thomas wait 12 years for her for? Like, what did he see in her that I don't see? I'm confused. I'm
Hmm.
lost.
I like the
Like,
fact we had Pammy back, too.
yes, I love Allie Mills. Oh, I was so happy to see Pam, and I was like happy to see Donna and Pam's interaction too. They've had great history over the years. Like, I just love those two in the same scenes together. So happy to see Allie Mills. I guess is temporarily back, or just for like maybe this
Probably
episode or whatever.
temporarily, because she's still on GH, I think, so.
Look, I understand if they're giving out better storylines over there. Go ahead and stay over there. But it was good to see Pam though.
Um, Yeah, this whole Danny Romalotti thing with the crossover from The Young and the Restless. Now, I can understand if they had him coming in to do a business collaboration. Okay, he's going to make the music for the Brook Bedroom line and their video ads and stuff. Fine. I don't know about this. I didn't like the whole fangirl look on Donna, and I'm thinking she was like, "Oh, I love him, and I used to dream about him." And I had posted, I'm like, "You got a whole husband sitting next to you, a high value man, you sitting right next to you, and Danny has a girlfriend with him. You need to calm yourself down."
I mean, just thirsty. I'm like, you're like in Eric's GCAC. Behave yourself.
I mean, and he
Like,
just was like, "Oh well, I guess I'll let her be happy about it." I'm like, "Really? You gonna let her play in your face like that?"
I don't think Eric knew where he was this whole time. I think he was just happy just to be somewhere, even though it was his own house. I don't think he knew what was taking place. You guys saw the video I sent. Like, I think even when he was dancing, he didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But just the way that she was just acting like a little girl, like, come on, Danny Romalotti, come on now. I
Yeah,
guess I don't
I
see it,
guess.
but okay.
Then Steffi took 2 seconds to go outside to take a call, and Hope was on Finn like a bolt of lightning. Now, there are some people that saying that he kissed her back because he grabbed her around the waist and then pushed off. instead of pushing off the moment she got in his face. What do you think about that?
I looked at it and I did not like the fact that he did grab her waist. That was I don't know if that was alcohol in his system, but he did push her off. But she was just extra thirsty. But here's my thing with Finn. He could have been very stern and shut her down days and weeks prior to this party. But he wanted to try to mend fences between these two women. He was also helping defending Hope. This is what happens when you open the door for a woman who is interested in you. She made it blunt and very clear of that. So he can stand by his wife all he wants, but now it's to the point where this girl's kissing up on you. And I'm curious to know what he's going to do. Is he going to tell his wife? Is he going to try to continue to have a friendship with Hope? He better not. And is he going to at least cuss her out because she's disrespecting him and his wife? This is what he knew better. Even his mother told him about Hope. Stay away from her by any means. This is what happens when you open a door like this. Instead of shut it down and say, no, you're disrespecting my wife. You guys are enemies. Never do anything. Especially when she was wearing that tacky lingerie that she had on. Yeah. You should have stopped it then.
Yeah, he had warning. That was the warning. When that girl said, can a girl dream? And, she had her lingerie on and trying to come on to him. Then you leave and then you come back in and close the door. Dude, you only enabling the situation, even though you're not actively pursuing Hope. The problem is that you're not setting firm boundaries with Hope and staying away from her.
And he felt that she was being harmless to him. But yet this is the same man who has all this anger for Thomas and saying that he's this and he's that, he's horrible, he's the... Okay, so what is Hope then? Now that you see that she has no problem disrespecting her own marriage and disrespecting yours. She clearly has chosen to tap into her mother's genetics, barely, but still. So now do you see that she is disrespectful to you and to Steffy and is moving forward with trying to bulldoze for your marriage? What are you going to do? Are you going to tell your wife so that she's aware that her enemy is trying to make moves on her husband? Well, she just did. But where is his loyalty going to lie? Is his loyalty going to be to keep it a secret, to try to protect Hope? Or is he going to actually tell his wife so all things are on the table and all bets are off so she can slap Hope?
So Marquella Scott said something very interesting. She said it was without consent. It's true that Finn led her on, but Hope is not that dumb. Hope is acting predatory, kind of like her dad taking her sister's V card while the Forresters were on the phone. Because, honestly, this was a little interesting to me. Because in today's society, if a man did that, it's a whole problem. Especially if it was unwanted advances. This was definitely unwanted. Now, she did it and they put it in the confounds of the show. But I was like, oh, I don't know about that one. I don't know if they should have did that one, but it is what it is.
And the thing is, he wasn't paying her no mind. Bad dancing and all. Like, she's well aware of the fact that he's committed to his wife, some degree. But he was every scene that we've seen lately, he's been all over his wife. He's been trying to look, I'm here for you, I'm supportive of you. He doesn't even look in Hope's direction at all. And she knows that. And I'm glad Vicky said that. Fatal attraction for Hope for Finn. I highly agree with that. And it's like, are you it's more than just being in heat now. It's like, my gosh, I guess any man would do. Carter was single. There was other people who were single that she could be around. But you just in desperation for it to be Steffi's man. You're in desperation to get a cookie from Steffi to have her throw compliments at your mother, and now you want to go after her man. Like, my goodness.
Well, the other part of this is that I thought this was going to be a scene where maybe people went out to the pool and she happened to catch Finn over there. They were right there on the other side of the wall when she did this. This wasn't really that private. You know what I'm saying? I thought maybe they was, when I saw the spoiler pics earlier this week, I was like, okay, they must be in another room or outside by the pool, and Hope catches Finn in there by himself. Danny Romalotti was still singing. They were dancing right there, right around the edge of that wall, and she did this. You talking about bold. Steffi hadn't been gone 2 seconds. You don't know if Steph was going to walk right back in because she didn't reach the person on the phone.
Right, exactly. She's doing this at Steffi's granddaddy's house. Her daddy in the room, her business partners are in the room. Just like disrespectful. Disrespectful.
You see what Jenna said?
What did she say?
She said she don't accept that Thomas left her because she didn't want her marriage, but you want to interfere in somebody else's?
She could have said yes. Thousands of the time that Thomas had proposed to her.
Yep. But she was like, I didn't want to, I'm still mourning my marriage, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not a home wrecker, and I don't like a divided heart. So what is Finn supposed to be if you start creeping with him and he's married to Steffi? That's a divided heart, ma'am.
Yeah, and on top of that, she had access to a plane. If she wanted to be with Thomas, she could. If she wanted to be with her son, she could. While she's crying to Steffi about saying, like, well, hope for the future would be success if only you didn't let Thomas go. But Thomas left on his own. I'm so sick of her saying that. I'm so sick of her bringing that up whenever her line is in jeopardy or in question about getting canceled. I'm so sick of the random excuses that she have regarding Steffi, and then she justifies it by thinking it's okay to be all over Steffi's husband, wearing tacky lingerie. She's not even trying to be sexy, and then she got that tablecloth on, kissing up on him.
Yep. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next, because they left us with that cliffhanger. Whether maybe Brooke comes around there and suspects something has just happened, or Steph comes in. I'm curious to see what that's going to look like tomorrow. So, yep.
I'm more concerned if Finn is actually going to tell his wife, or he's going to try to keep that to himself.
Yeah, that's another one too. Will he say something, or maybe he won't? Steph haven't said anything for the whole year when Liam kissed her. So who knows what they're going to do with this kiss.
You know what I was hoping for? Because isn't Taylor supposed to be coming back this week?
Friday.
I was hoping... Oh, Friday? That sucks. I was hoping that she would open the door and she'd be the very first thing that she sees is Finn kissing Hope. That would have been great writing. But, that's just me.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yep. Well, we gotta see. I have another call. I gotta be on at 7:30. So, this was good. I know we had to get it all in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Between what's gonna happen to Poppy, and whether Bill's gonna do the paternity test, and what's gonna happen with this kiss, whether Finn tells Steph or somebody catch them, it's going to be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. And we're going to touch on this dancing, this horrible dance sequence we saw.
Yeah, girl,
on Friday.
I don't know. I honestly don't think he was actually singing the song in that moment. I think it was pre-recorded, because I saw a lot of lip syncing. But hey,
Rock on. The only person who found a beat was Carter. Everybody else, I don't know what they were dancing to.
I know, right? Poppy is over. They have to get rid of her to bring on Taylor. Oh, you think so, Jenna?
I think so. because they keep saying that apartment's going to get demolished, and usually sometimes it's somebody going to end up underneath the building. I highly agree with that, Jenna.
Yep. So, all right, great midweek chat. I gotta jump on another Zoom call. It was, stay tuned for the Friday night live chat with the rest of us. It's going to be interesting to see what Bold is going to look like the next 2 days. Young and the Restless, as I said, tomorrow. For me, it was a snooze fest. So, all right, you guys. Thanks again, Bree.
Well, thanks, guys. We'll see you Friday and rock on.
You so funny. All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye, y'all.